All right, Nation, as soon as Ryan gets in here, we'll start the show. Raiders win. Pretty convincing fashion in pretty convincing fashion against the Broncos today. So you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Raiders. My notes up. And 1, 2, 3. And welcome everybody to another glorious episode of the Put On Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are podcasting, he is, all the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. I'm in Nevada on a nice victory recording here of the rapid reaction to the Raiders win over the Broncos today. There was a lot of orange in there. It was good to send those folks back home, and with a tail between their legs, if you will. The Raiders find a way to win this game today. We'll talk about that in our rapid reactions to it. Our HOLM 22 is Ryan's Twitter handle, and mine is PORSBR on the Put On Raiders podcast. Ryan, it's good to have an actual nice show today where we can talk some positive things the Raiders done without having to talk about some silly things they did to lose the game. They won the game today, and pretty convincing fashion, beating the Broncos today.
Yeah, just win one, baby. They can do that, so we can cross that off the checklist for 2022. It was good to see them, one, get a win within the division, and two, get a win in their home stadium, which is two things they've struggled to do the last couple of years. It was good to see the run game get going, which is we've been praying for the last couple of weeks, is they have to run the football. These teams have been playing exotic defenses to kind of try to take away Waller and Adams. And the only way you can get him out of that is to run the football. And Josh Jacobs showed up. He was balling today. One of his best games as a Raider, career high in rushing yards. The 43-yard run he had was special. And it was good to see them ride that hot hand in the fourth quarter on that last touchdown drive when the offense they needed a touchdown to put the game away, and they showed up and they did that.
Yeah, and it was good to see the defense just kind of in that middle eight I always talk about, just like you posted it today early. You sent it to me in a text and I posted it today where they just punt. Like they were giving up no yards. Max Crosby he is a TFL machine. I mean, the guy is just tackle for loss every single time. I know everybody tweeted at the same time or texted me at the same time when he dropped into coverage on that one play. What are we doing? That's the Yale in him, he's a Yale. So it happens sometimes with Patrick. But I thought overall the defense played pretty well. And I think it was I think the critical point in the game, the Broncos score, and then it's a 2-point game. And you're sitting there saying to yourself, I'm in that stadium, I'm sitting there saying, am I going to be sitting in this same seat as Ryan Holmes to watch another quarterback come from behind and beat the Raiders? and it didn't happen because they just stayed true to what was working, and they can't stop the run. They couldn't stop Josh Jacobs. I think Derek had 5 first downs today. So that's huge. A couple of big runs. I thought when they had the 3rd and 1, I thought for sure quarterback sneak was like it was a perfect play there. Didn't have to hand the ball and go backwards on that. I hope they were getting enough push. But good job by the line. The line, I think they figure it out now what they want to do with this line. No injuries, knock on wood, through this game. But they did a good job against, running the football. And you have to run the football when they're playing too high. Like you just have to run it.
Yeah, I don't know if they've settled on the O-line. Illuminor started at right tackle, and Mumford played a majority, like middle of the third quarter on.
Yeah,
it was Mumford. So it was Mumford late in the game when they got the drives going. I think the play of the game for me was they're running the ball in that last drive, 3-yard loss on first down, 2nd and 13, Derek Carr hitting Devontae Adams over the middle. Adams breaks a tackle, picks up a first down in Broncos territory. And at that moment, I knew, okay, they're probably going to win this game. But they've been in that situation, 2nd and long. They were against the Cardinals and didn't pull it off, but Carr made a good throw to Adams. Adams breaks a tackle over the middle. The rest is history. They kind of set up that shovel and that kind of flip play to Zamir White. They ran that same formation against the Cardinals and handed it to Jacobs as the fullback. You could see the Broncos defenders pointing at Jacobs as an alert, and then boom, out the side. And then it was a nice block by Darren Waller. It's good to see Waller get involved in the run game. I really liked how they just went big and put Justin Herron in and said, screw it, we're going to run the ball with 6-0 linemen. He went Bill Musgrave on us today. You saw a lot of Jacob Johnson as the second tight end, but there was also a lot of Justin Herron who they picked up from the Patriots and is that 6th lineman as a tight end when they wanted to run the football. And after one of the Jacobs touchdowns, you can catch it at the end. He just basically annihilates one of the Broncos defenders in the end zone. So it was good to see them go big and announce their presence with authority on the ground, because that's what you got to do against a defense like the Broncos. You can't draw back and throw the ball 40, 45 times against them.
And I think that's very true. And I thought on Carr's runs, what I liked about it was as soon as that defensive end kind of crashed in, it was like a no brainer. I'm gone, and like just be decisive with it. You're gonna be more effective in those runs if you're decisive with it and you just go. He's an athlete. He took a little bit of a hit on the one before half. I still think before half we need to have a counseling session on the 2-minute drill. We offer that to Josh McDaniels at the Put on Waivers podcast. You can definitely call us and we can set up a Zoom call and get that going for you, because they have been pretty like just weird and just wasting a lot of precious seconds. Because when Carr makes that play, to run up the right sideline, they could have had plenty of time to take a couple more shots if they run the clock a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you caught the post-game press conferences, but both Carr and McDaniels talked about if teams are going to play 2-man and they're going to double guys, if they're going to play double-double with the safeties, and Derek said, hey, if I see that now, I'm going to put my foot in the ground and go. And he did that. He ran the ball 7 times today. I think 5, like you mentioned, were first down, some big third down conversions, and it's good to see that part of his game. I didn't like early that drive right before half where I think they got the ball with like 1:40. I could be wrong. But they ran a couple plays and it was like down to 40 seconds and they were at like their own 40-yard line. Like they basically lost a minute and they ran 2 plays. And then the time kind of ran out. They went to half with a timeout. But it was good to see the offense move the ball again. Again, the red zone, a crucial 2 for 5 today. Again, that game shouldn't have been close if they can convert in the red zone. They just failed. And I think we have to give credit to the defense. 1, the defense scored a touchdown today. And 2, the defense was given a lot of bad field position where the Broncos started 4 drives at midfield or in Raiders territory. And the defense kind of held up to that. You don't like to see the 1st and 30 after the 2 holding calls and then the big bomb down the middle. I'll see the all 22 and kind of see what the coverage was and who messed up in coverage. It looked like he split Harmon and one of the DBs. Back there. And then the touchdown, I believe it was to Judy. Initially, it looked like maybe Diablo, but I think that was just a really good play design against cover three. It looked like they were because they had three to the passing strength. The tight end ran up the seam of the three wide receiver set. So I think Diablo kind of got caught in the middle. But again, I think he's supposed to be covering that guy just based on the alignment. So someone let the number two receiver get up the field. So it was probably one of the defensive backs. But overall, thought they did a good job keeping Russell Wilson in the pocket for the most part. Malcolm Kuntz got a lot of playing time. I didn't see anything jump out during the game, but it was good to see him get his feet when he get out there and get a lot of plays. And I'm going to tip my cap to Meek Robertson. I tweeted during the game after that long touchdown return. Thank God it wasn't Dallin Levitt running the wrong way, but I said this guy must have played running back or kick returner. I sent a tweet out during the game, and I did some research on it. He did. He played running back, kick returner, quarterback, wide receiver, DB. So you saw some of those skills from a Meek Robertson. And as soon as you saw Judy catch that ball and kind of make the he's short gesture, Meek was laying the wood. This is the guy we saw in college where he'd come up and tackle. Still, he's going to lose some battles on the outside just due to his size, but you saw the dog in him. You saw the fight. It's good to see a Meek Robertson really step up today. I would have liked to see Patrick Graham not put to the corners on the outside. He played Hobbs in the slot a lot, so you saw Robertson and Javon Guidry outside a lot on Judy and Sutton. They won the game. That's the good part, but we'll see what happens next week against the Chiefs. They're going to have a plan for Travis Kelce because the Bucs definitely did not tonight.
Yeah, and Kelce is just 2 touchdowns every game. It amazes me. He was top 5. I'll talking about top 5 tight ends of all time in my book with Travis Kelce. The onside kick. We talk about we talk about special teams more so on this show than any other, but special teams almost lost the Raiders in this game. And then you had the onside kick. I don't know if he saw the perfect onside kick in the Arkansas Alabama game and said, "Hey, let's just try that." But that's not in that moment. You're up. You're at home. You're playing an opponent who they are a really bad offensive team right now. They are just, if they can't run the football, forget about it. They have no shot. And I hate to say it, it's hard to say that with a Russell Wilson quarterback team, but just watch. Proof is in the pudding. Watch them play. Why am I giving them a short field? Let Crosby eat. Let this defensive line eat. Like they're not. All he wants to do is throw the ball deep. You're playing your safeties back, whatever. Your front 4. You're getting pressure with 4, occasionally blitzing. To force them to get the ball out quickly. That bothered me a whole lot to watch that play. Seeing it live, I might have screamed a couple words that kids shouldn't hear.
Yeah, I tweeted something about that, and then I got a couple of responses, and people were like, "Oh, it's the Madden football. That's the new wave." The Raiders are really struggling to score touchdowns. It's a 10-7 game, like you said. You want to make the Broncos drive the whole field. They got a short field a couple of times before that. And basically, to me, it's a push because if you don't get it, you give up a field goal. If you do get it, odds are you're going to kick a field goal on the other end. So at the end of the day, it's a push. I understand the philosophy. They just had a long drive. They're wearing them out. You could get the ball, go up. If you score a touchdown, you're up 17-7. But I just don't understand the logic at that point in the game against the team. Like if the Raiders are the Chiefs in the red zone and they're converting 70-80% of red zone trips into touchdowns, I get it. You're not worried about giving up 3 points, but this is a team that's really struggling to get 7. They're really good at getting 3. They're really struggling at getting 7. So to me, it just didn't make a ton of sense at that point in the game. The Raiders just had a long drive, like make the Broncos go 75-80 yards down the field, and they just didn't do that.
And you saw that. I mean, they went backwards the whole game, and I knew the game was probably in hand when Max Crosby finally got a holding call. I thought that was the check mark for me when I saw that. So the Meek play was great. He was quite shifty on that return. I think the first return in 3 years for the Raiders. Defensive touchdown. I think it's no coincidence that they just that's kind of that attention to detail where you have a running back or running back room in Denver who turns the ball over, take the ball away. And this defense has taken the ball away. And you made a good point when I think you were responding to Big Tafer. People don't count the turnovers turnover on downs, but they should. I mean, because it's a turnover. You know,
turnover.
It's a turnover. It's kind of in the name of turnover. Okay, you know, turnover on downs. So as far as that goes, let's see here. Russell did make some big plays down the stretch, but like look at if you look at the rushing yards, Javonte Williams only had 28 yards rushing. I think Boone came in was 3 carries for 20, and then Melvin Gordon the third had 3 yards for 3 carries for 8 yards. The Raiders took away that run game, which was huge in the ball game, and that set up the right to run the right to rush the passer, and they did a good job rushing the passer today.
Yeah, I saw a stat that they had a 40% pressure rate in the second half. They didn't blitz one time, so the front four was getting home. I like the juice that Denzel Perryman brought early before he left with a concussion. It's clear that he's a difference maker for them at linebacker, whereas the other 2 guys again struggled in pass coverage. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Perryman can the extra day is going to give him a chance to play on Monday night against the Chiefs. Nate Hobbs and Max Crosby are the playmakers on defense. I'd like to see a little bit more from Trayvon Merrick. He was out there today, but didn't do much. So we'll see what the film looks like in this coverage. But I think overall, I thought the Raiders had a pretty good plan defensively, and it was just a play here, a play there. It was a blown coverage where they just didn't get. I think it was Robertson trying to run across the formation. They snapped it, got a 35-yard pass down the sideline, and then the big play down the middle. But other than that, the defense made some adjustments there in the second half, got the offense the ball. And it was good to see the offense respond when they needed to put 7 on the board to win the game. They did it, and they didn't kick a field goal. And they won. And that's the end of the day. Just win one, baby. Now they're kind of back in it. They're 1-3. Next week's game is really important. If they can if they can go into Kansas City and win and get 2 wins within the AFC West and be at 2-3, they're going to have a chance. Because in the AFC, there's a bunch of teams, 2-2, 3-1, but no one's 4-0. There's not anyone running away. So now the Raiders just need to do one game at a time to stack wins. But you got to win at home. And I think Josh Jacobs made a really good point after the game. They asked him about all the orange. He said, you know what? When you have an all-black stadium and you wear any other color, it stands out. But there were a lot of Bronco fans there.
There were a lot of Bronco fans.
At the same time, the Raiders fans made a lot of noise too. But it's good to reward the Raiders fans with a W at home in their house.
And I do think I think one of these days, I know Lane Kiffin got a lot of crap for it when he did it, but I do want to Raider white out one day. I do want to see that in the game. I do. I like that look sometimes once in a while.
I thought you were going to ask for Daniel Carlson's 76-yard field goal attempt. So thankfully you didn't go down that road.
I mean, he did not. Well, at least he got his missed extra point out the way in a game where that they didn't come back to haunt the Raiders at all. And then also didn't come back to haunt any bettors because the Raiders who are favored by 2 covered this ball game. Just to seeing it live, I think the biggest thing I can say about the Carr to Adams connection is it can only get better because it just seems a little off, a little bit to me, they could do the one thing they could do to really spice it up and get it really going is just put them in motion. Like when you put them in motion, as good as Surtain is, I think Surtain is an excellent player. And then when you get a reputation of excellent player, you get away with a couple of plays where it could have been pass interference or holding or whatever. But I do give him credit for doing a job, doing the best you could do with Davante Adams. But I think if you move him around and put him in motion, it's a little bit more difficult to stop the guy because once he gets the ball in his hands, I mean that little swing pass on the outside, like when he turns it on, and that play against in the middle where he's like almost a threat to break that for a bigger play. It's just like magic. The guy is an exceptional receiver. I mean, it's just you got to get him the ball as much as you can.
Yeah, and they did a good job today of getting it to him. I think he had 9 catches on 13 targets, so much more efficient. It's not 10 on 17 or 7 on 15 or 16 targets like we've seen in previous games. But, I think Derek Carr did a good job managing the game today. I thought there was some questionable play calls, the third and short where they tried to throw that quick screen to Hollins. They basically threw it right to Chubb, and it was incomplete. There was they tried to go off that shield screen they threw to Adams against the Cardinals at the red zone and try to hit Hollins coming out of that. The Broncos didn't fall for that. So there was a little bit of creativity in the play calling in the red zone, but you'd like to see them punch some of those in. I was really didn't like the third. I think they had 1st and goal at the 1. Carr made a nice play on 3rd down to get the ball to Waller. I'm yelling quarterback sneak, like just get the points, and then they go backwards, and then they end up kicking a field goal. But they're making strides. I thought the offense started to show a little bit of signs of life today, and I think the defense showed up. Now we need the special teams to show up because that was not a good showing. Other than Matt Collins, who I started the Twitter AFC Pro Bowl special teams player tweet today, who made another tremendous play, getting a ball down to the 1 yard line.
Yeah, I think Russell completed one to himself today because of that and that. So I mean, Waller did not get involved too much in this game. I can't see the all 20. I was at the game, so it's hard to really kind of see everything, but because you're emotionally in it. But I'd like to see him get involved a little bit more. But hey, that happens. They ran the ball pretty well today. No Foster Moreau in the lineup as well today. So, but they still were able to they went heavy and ran the football down the Broncos' throat. I think the big plays down the stretch. They were on the field for a long time. They got enough stops to win this game. So I'm not gonna even kill the defense on much of anything. Obviously you want to see what did the Broncos score. What was their red zone today? They scored 3 out of. They went there 4 times.
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
Broncos were 2 for 3.
Yeah, 2 out of 3. So that's something you can look at as well. I think obviously you win these games, lose these games, Ryan, on your efficiency to stop in the red zone and to score in the red zone.
Yeah, and the Raiders lost that battle today, but fortunately they made enough plays to win the game. I just look they got the Broncos off the field on 3rd down. I'm looking at it. They were 3 of 11 on 3rd down. They got 3 sacks. They got a turnover. They returned it for a touchdown. So I think the key here was getting off the field on 3rd down, winning the time of possession. They only had 4 penalties for 25 yards. So we saw, again, with a crew that loves to throw flags. So the Raiders played discipline today. Yeah, there was a couple of mistakes here or there, but they got the running game going. They got Adams involved. They didn't turn the ball over. It was just, some special teams punt return coverages you'd like to see a little bit tighter. But other than that, I thought they played a solid game.
What is your take on Cole and Johnson back there? You like Cole returning kicks? You think that's you? No, I would say no.
There's no juice there. Like, he had a couple where you're like, okay, he's got some space. He doesn't go anywhere. So
yeah.
With Renfrow coming back off a concussion, I wouldn't put him back there right away. They need him in this offense. So they're going to have to figure out what to do at punt returner. Hey, at this point, just put Amik Robertson back there and tell him to try. But we saw what he can do in the upper field.
Yeah, I love corners. I love corners who can do that as well too. So, and DJ Turner is still out or healthy scratch, or
he's on IR still.
Yeah, IR still. So yeah, okay. So he's on IR. So that's like how many more weeks is that? We'll have to see how long that's going to be.
Amir Abdullah, let's try him.
That's all I heard about in training camp was Amir Abdullah, and I haven't seen anything like that. I do like it was nice to see the crowd was very juiced up to see Zeus get that big carry late in the game. The crowd went nuts on that play. So good to see him, a little flip play to the outside. There's no you're crashing as a linebacker's crashing down or lineman crashing down. There's no way they're going to be able to get the running back who's going full speed opposite direction. So you have that. Anything else you want to kind of dive into as far as this one?
No, I think we're starting to see. Hopefully, the offensive line's played okay the last 2 weeks. Hopefully, they're turning the corner. Now let's get Renfrow back. And now it's just about stacking wins. The Raiders dug themselves a pretty deep hole to start this year, but it's good to get that win, get that pressure, get that monkey off your back. And now let's go have fun on Monday night and try to win another game within the division.
Yeah, Monday night is going to be. You want to sit there and you want to obviously celebrate this one for tonight, and then after that, it's just time to get ready for Kansas City, and you got an extra day to do it. This has been a whether it's the hitting the wire, trying to get the ball to Cooper, whatever's going on. That place has always been a place of horrors for whether it was spider wire, right? Whether it was Alex Smith or Patrick Mahomes. And as long as Andy Reid's been there, it's been a tough place for the Raiders to play and win games. So it's gonna be tough to win there. But I mean, every game they're probably gonna be like a 7-point dog in that game, especially with the way the Chiefs played today. So you go there and you hope your division games are always closer than what the spread is. So I think I think the Raiders might have a chance to win this one, and especially with Patrick Graham has been pretty good against Patrick Mahomes in the past. So we'll see.
So now we went from just win one to now let's just win another one, baby.
That's one
Tomorrow's Victory Monday. I can't wait. My first Victory Monday.
Victory Monday. I posted on Twitter today and Instagram that the first weekend that Fight On and Raider Nation could actually have a victory in the same weekend. So that definitely feels good. All right, Raider Nation. We can join us later in the week. We'll get the all 22. We'll get another show off for you. Can tell you what happened in that game and then preview the Chiefs, who are just, I mean, I think, what I saw today, the thing that's really concerning a little bit would be, and I see just another DJ in the chat talking about he hopes Boston Monroe's back and Rock Ya-Sin. Hopefully both those guys are able to play. But you just, the Raiders have to kind of, when you dig yourself a hole, it's going to be 1-4 is tough. And it's probably likely, who knows? But the Chiefs are discovering I don't know if they're going to stay with it, but that offensive line can really run the football well. Karlaftis is giving them an opportunity to have a really good defensive line and pressure without having the blitz. So it's going to be a tough one for the Raiders.
I would look out for Nate Hobbs playing a lot on Travis Kelce. That's what I would do. If you send back and you trust Robertson on the outside, Nate Hobbs, it's time. Lock down Travis Kelce.
Do you like blitzing Mahomes, or you want to just rush for? With him?
It would depend on the situation.
You got to mix it.
How you blitz him? Yeah. They ran the ball really well against a really good run defense today against Tampa. So the Raiders are going to have to. They can't just say, "Hey, we're going to stop Mahomes." They're going to have to figure out how to stop this running game too. But it'll be interesting. I think now is a good time to see the physicality that Nate Hobbs has. I think he can match up with Travis Kelce in the right spots on 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8. You're not going to do it every down, but we'll see. We'll see what the chess pieces that Patrick Graham has. You can't cover him with Brown or Diablo this week. That can't happen. No. So they have to have a game plan for him. And maybe this is the week where the Raiders double a tight end from the other team because we have 3 games of film of other teams doing it to Darren Waller, so they should be able to figure it out.
Should be able to do something, and that would give, if Hobbs has that kind of game against Kelce, that will give him the national attention that he has not received yet. So we'll see what happens. All right, see you next time.